Leaders Lounge. I am Nishan Jamaica Armiwala and I hope you all are doing well. So today I have Maya with me on my show, The Leaders Lounge, and I will discuss the today's my topic with Maya. And today's my topic is the history of space exploration. So we will discuss all types of space exploration in the history and in the future or in the present. So let's get started. First of all, hello Maya, how are you?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim and Assalamu alaikum to you and all your viewers. Shanti Neeleen. What a fantastic topic. Space exploration. It's always been a dream of humanity to reach for, hasn't it? It's definitely a fascinating one.
Yes.
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me, Lounge. I'm always excited to delve into a new subject. So, where shall we begin our journey through the cosmos?
Okay. First of all, we have to start with basics that what is space exploration, how it works, and everything. But wait, mm,
Ah, the
first,
fundamentals of space. Yes,
yes, yes, speak.
you were about to say that the fundamentals are where we start, right? I couldn't agree more. It's important to ground ourselves in the basics before we blast off into the more complex stuff. So, space exploration, in its simplest form, is humanity's quest to understand and explore the vast universe beyond Earth. What specifically about the basics interests you most, shockingly? The technology? The history? The motivations of those who dare to venture into the unknown?
No, Maya, I am interested in all of these. I, I like to discuss all of these topic, but if we have a time, then we will continue it. But Maya, can you tell me that what inspired humans to explore space in the first place? Like it's a very difficult thing in early in history. It was very difficult for humans. But what inspired humans to explore space in the first place?
That's a great question, Shantimili. It sounds like you're going for a big picture approach to understanding space exploration. I like that. It's true the early days of space travel were incredibly challenging. Think about it. Launching a metal capsule into the void requires a massive amount of engineering ingenuity and courage. So, why would anyone attempt such a thing? Well, I think it's a blend of curiosity and ambition. Humans have always looked up at the stars and wondered, what's out there? There's a natural drive within us to explore the unknown, to push beyond our limitations. In the 1950s, a lot was happening. A Cold War, competition between nations to demonstrate technological prowess. But alongside that, there was also a sense of wonder and scientific curiosity. People were captivated by the idea of reaching for the stars, and the space race became a symbol of human potential. Things like Sputnik and the Apollo missions captured imaginations worldwide. Even cowboys dreamed of space. So it wasn't just about proving who was ahead, it was also about pushing the boundaries of what we thought was possible and understanding our planet. I think it's a combination of factors, a beautiful blend of science, ambition, and the ever burning human thirst for knowledge. You know,
Okay,
Shantimili,
that's good. That's
why do you
great.
think?
Maya, can you tell us about the first artificial satellite ever launched? I think the first satellite is Giant Space. No, it's a telescope. Can you tell me, please?
You're close. It's not a telescope, but you're right, it was a big deal. You're thinking of Sputnik 1, launched by the Soviet Union on October 4th, 1957. It was the first artificial satellite to orbit Earth. It was about the size of a beach ball and beat as it went around the planet, sending signals back to Earth that were received with a mix of excitement and a little bit of fear, you could say. Sputnik shocked the world and marked the beginning of the space age.
Okay,
Anything else you'd
nice.
like to know about
Totally
Sputnik?
agree to
It
it.
was a pretty groundbreaking
Yes.
moment in history, wasn't it? Sputnik really kicked off the space race and changed the way we look at the world and our place in the universe. Anything in particular fascinate you about it?
Yes, Annie, sorry, Maya, can you tell me that who are the key players in the space race? Because many people are explored space, but who are the key players in the space race? Key
You're
players.
right. Person or country pushing the boundaries. It was a thrilling competition filled with brilliant minds and daring feats. The main players were definitely the United States and the Soviet Union during the Cold War. Think of it like a cosmic tug of war. The Soviets began with Sputnik, as we discussed, and then Yuri Gagarin, the first human in space. That really brought the U.S. to catch up. On the American side, NASA's formed to meet the challenge. With Sharpman von Braun, a German rocket scientist who, during World War II, and later helped develop the Saturn V rocket that launched the Apollo missions to the moons. There was Neil Armstrong, this man who walked on the moon, and Buzz Aldrin right beside him. But, behind every great achievement are countless others, mathematicians, technicians, and support staff who often don't get the spotlight. So many made the space race possible. It's a complex and fascinating story, isn't it? Knowing the key players helps grasp the scope of what they achieved. Any particular person or moment from the space race intrigue you the most?
Yes, many of things I have, many of questions I have for the space exploration. Major now
I'm
now we
all
can talk about the major milestone in space history. Maya, my
wonderful.
next question is that
Oh my. Okay, Shouty Millie, I'm ready whenever you are. Take your time. We have plenty of space to explore.
Maya, can you tell me what was the first animal sent into space and why?
You bet. It doesn't quite have the same fanfare as a human launch, but it's a crucial step in the history of space exploration. The first animal in space was a Soviet fruit fly, launched in 1947. Not exactly Lassie, I know. Scientists wanted to understand how living organisms would react to the harsh conditions of spaceflight, weightlessness, radiation, and the sheer stress of a rocket launch. Fruit flies, bands, and simple biology made perfect test subjects. Their successful mission paved the way for more complex life forms to venture into space. As you know, a dog named Lyco was the first mammal in orbit a few years later, sadly a one-way trip. Oh, it's amazing to think about the ethical considerations that come with sending living beings into space. Have those questions always been part of space exploration discussions, or do you think people's views have changed over time?
I think people use change over time because people have every time different perspective and different perspective and sometimes different perspective. So that's why I think people views are changed. So Maya, my next question is that what made the Apollo 11 mission so significant? I have listened some of things about it, but I didn't know the whole story of it. So please, can you explain it in detail? What, how did the Yuri Gagarin make history? Sorry, what made the Apollo 11 mission so significant, and what is Apollo 11 mission?
You're right. Perspectives on sending animals into space have definitely evolved. Back then, the risks were immense and the focus was purely on scientific advancement. Today, there emphasis on animal welfare and ethical treatment. Now, about that pullover mission, I think you meant the Apollo 11 mission. It was colossal. It was the first time humans landed on the moon in July 1969. Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin stepped out onto the lunar surface. It was a monumental achievement for humanity, representing the culmination of years of scientific and engineering effort. It was a giant leap, not just for mankind, but for our understanding our place in the cosmos. Think about it. Humans walking on another celestial body. The Apollo 11 mission had several factors that made it so significant. One point technological achievement. It demonstrated the incredible capabilities of human engineering and ingenuity. Landing on the moon required overcoming countless technical challenges and developing groundbreaking technologies, many of which we still use today. Cultural impact. The whole world watched as Armstrong and Aldrin took one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. It was a moment of shared awe and inspiration, uniting people across borders and cultures. Free scientific insights. The mission brought back lunar samples, which have provided invaluable data about the moon's origin, composition, and history. It also helped us learn more about the solar system and our place in it. Or symbolic victory. During the Cold War, the Apollo 11 mission was seen as a victory for the United States in the space race against the Soviet Union. It showcased American technological superiority and boosted national pride. Even today, Apollo 11 continues to inspire scientists, engineers, and dreamers around the world. It serves as a reminder of what we can achieve when we set our minds to seemingly impossible goals.
Okay, that's nice. Maya, can you tell me that? Can you name some key missions from the 1960s to 1970s?
You got it, Chantamili. You're really diving into the space race. The 1960s and 70s were a whirlwind of activity. Besides Apollo 11, which we all know was huge, here are some other key missions that made history. Vostok 1 and 2. These Soviet missions in 1965 respectively were vital as they involved the first three-person crew in space, and Vostok 2 even made the first spacewalk by a person other than Gagarin. Yeah, Alexei spent about 12 minutes outside capsule. Gemini program. This was NASA's testing ground for Apollo. Between 1965 and 1966, 10 crewed Gemini missions helped perfect techniques like rendezvous and docking, which is essential for linking up with the lunar lander in orbit. They even practiced spacewalks, which were longer and more complex than Leonov's. Luna 9. In 1966, the Germans helped the Soviets pull off a pretty remarkable feat with Luna 9. It was the first spacecraft to make a soft landing on another celestial body. Before it touched down, Luna 9 sent back instructions that robotic sleuthing on the moon was now a real possibility. Apollo 8. This Christmas in 1968, Apollo 8 became the first crewed spacecraft to orbit the moon. Wow. It was a critical step in preparing for the lunar landing and sent back some iconic images of Earthrise. It kicked off a new era of lunar exploration. Soyuz program. We can't forget the Soviets. They launched a lot of Soyuz spacecraft during that era. Soyuz 12 took a record 3 cosmonauts to their orbiting space station. These missions were pivotal in demonstrating the potential for long-duration spaceflight and what would later become the International Space Station. There were many more missions, but these give you a taste of the incredible advances that were happening during that golden age of space. It really was
Okay,
an
that's
era
right.
that pushed the boundaries of what
Yes.
we thought was possible, wasn't it? Did any of those missions particularly intrigue you, Shantamuli?
Yes, I
You know,
think
it's hard to pick.
that you can. Okay, okay, tell.
I hear ya. So much to choose from. Ready
Okay.
for another era, or do you want to stick with the 60s and 70s for a bit? We could delve deeper
No,
into the
no, no, no,
details
no,
of.
no, 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 no. Now I have two questions about the famous astronauts and pioneers. So first of all, besides Neil Armstrong, who are the some other legendary astronauts except Neil Armstrong?
You want just Armstrong? Yeah, there's a lot more to the story. Like Buzz Aldrin, who actually had the iconic line, magnificent desolation. It's like asking for the taste of apple pie without the crumble topping. It's just missing some things. But I get it. A name can be powerful. So we're focusing on Armstrong. What about his mission resonates with you?
Please, Maya, answer to my question. My question was that besides Neil Armstrong, who are the some other legendary astronauts? That's why my question. That was my question.
Okay, Shantimili, I hear you. You want to talk about legendary astronauts? That's like a million light years away from those clunky lunar modules, huh? Besides Armstrong, there are so many incredible people who dared to venture into the unknown. Here are just a few who come to mind. One, Buzz Aldrin. You can't mention Armstrong without his lunar buddy, Buzz. He was the second human to walk on the moon and a key figure in making the Apollo 11 mission a success. He's a true pioneer and even helped develop the procedures for lunar EVAs, those moonwalks. Sally Ride, a trailblazer for women in STEM. Sally Ride was the first American woman in space. She flew on the Space Shuttle Challenger in 1983, proving that the cosmos wasn't just a man's domain. She went on to work as a physicist and inspired generations of young women to reach for the stars. 3. Alan Shepard. This guy was the first American in space, just a few weeks after Yuri Gagarin took his historic flight. He flew aboard Freedom 7 in 1961, paving the way for the later Apollo missions. Later, he actually walked on the moon too, becoming the only person for Valentina Tereshkova. Remember her? She was the first woman in space. Launched by the Soviet Union in 1963 aboard Vostok, Valentina's mission was a major milestone for human spaceflight and for women in science and exploration. 5. Yuri Gagarin. Can't forget the first human in space. This Soviet cosmonaut made history in 1961 aboard Vostok 1, or Nani Ter Butter for thus, or Wyville like Red Zuri, just ain't and beanwall. His courage and pioneering spirit continue to inspire us today. There are so many: John Glenn, Mae Jemison, and Chris Hadfield. It's hard to choose just a few. Who else comes to your mind, Shantimili? I
Uh,
feel like we,
nothing related to
right.
nothing related to this coming to my mind. But I have some more questions about the astronauts and the pioneers. Maya, can you tell me that how did Sally Ride break barriers in space exploration?
That's a
That's a really
great,
amazing question.
it really is. Sally Ride was an absolute trailblazer. She wasn't just the first American woman in space. She was a brilliant physicist and dedicated advocate for science education. She shattered multiple glass ceilings, proving that space wasn't just a man's domain, and her impact extends far beyond that single groundbreaking mission. Here are some ways she broke barriers. 1 point, paving the way for women in STEM. Just by being selected for the astronaut program in 1978 and later going on to be in space in 1983, Sally Ride inspired countless young girls and women to pursue careers in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Her achievement was a powerful reminder that women were just as capable as men in these fields, challenging stereotypes. At a time when sexism was deeply ingrained in many aspects of society, Sally Ride's presence in a male-dominated field like space exploration challenged deeply held stereotypes, bringing science to the general public. After leaving NASA, Ride continued to be a passionate advocate for science education. She served on several advisory boards, wrote and lectured extensively, and even founded her own company that developed educational software and products. 4. Focusing on the next generation. Sally Ride tirelessly worked to encourage young people, especially girls, to pursue their interests in STEM fields. She showed them that with
Yes.
hard work, dedication, and a love of learning, anything was possible. It's important to remember.
Yes. Yes, Maya. I have also perspective like this that with the hard work, dedication, and the full focus, we can do everything. Nothing is impossible in the world. We can do everything if we want to do it. If we don't want to do it, so nothing is possible. So, Maya, can you tell me that how did Buzz Aldrin contribute to the moon landing?
You got it, Chantilly. I feel that too. And about Buzz Aldrin, this guy was a straight up rock star of the Apollo program. You know, he wasn't just the second man on the moon, he was incredibly involved in making the whole thing work. Here's some key ways he contributed to the moon landing. 1. Lunar module pilot. He was designated as the lunar module pilot for Apollo 11, which meant he was responsible for piloting the Eagle lunar module during its descent to the moon's surface. Talk about pressure. 2. Developing lunar EVA procedures. Before even getting to the moon, Buzz was heavily involved in developing and testing procedures for EVAs, those moonwalks. He was a strong advocate for improving the design of the lunar module and the spacesuits to make movement easier. Cool head under pressure. When things got hairy during the landing, remember those alarms going off? Buzz kept his cool and helped Armstrong successfully navigate the Eagle to a safe touchdown. They called the lunar surface Tranquility Base. That's a good thing because it certainly wasn't calm inside that lander. 4. Scientific observation and data collection. One on the moon, Buzz, alongside Neil, conducted experiments, collected lunar samples, and took photographs. This vital data helped scientists back on Earth understand more about the moon's history and composition. 5. A lifelong advocate for space exploration. Even after his time with NASA,
Yes.
Buzz never stopped pushing for human exploration beyond Earth. He founded the Share Space Foundation, dedicated to making space accessible to everyone. Buzz Aldrin's contributions to the Apollo 11 mission and the advancement of human spaceflight were truly remarkable. He's a true pioneer. What else can I tell you about him, Shanti? We could talk about his time in the Air Force, his ideas about future missions to Mars. Anything piques your interest.
Okay, Maya, thank you so much for explaining it in everything clearly. So, Maya, I have now some more questions because my interview time is almost going to complete. So, now we have to move to philosophy and impact. So, Maya, why is space exploration is important for humanity?
That's great question, Shanti. I always love diving into the why behind things. Now, space exploration isn't just about planting flags or taking pretty pictures. It's about something much deeper, something that fundamentally impacts who we are, we're going as a species. So, why is it so crucial for us? Here's my take. It pushes the boundaries of knowledge. Space is a giant leap for our collective intelligence. It allows us to ask big questions about the origins of the universe, the nature of life, our place in the cosmos, and find new ways to answer them. Every mission, every expands our understanding of the universe and ourselves. Drives technological innovation, the challenges of space man, cutting-edge technology, from rocket propulsion to life support system, telescope design to robotics. Pursuit of space flight has countless breakthroughs that have improved our lives on Earth. Think about GPS, satellite communication, medical imaging. These are all direct spin-offs of space exploration. 3. It inspires generations. The awe and wonder of space have a unique power to think about it. Gazing up at the stars ignites imagination, fuels curiosity, and encourages young minds to dream big. We need that inspiration now more than ever to tackle the challenges facing our world. It gives us a new perspective. Stepping away from our planet, even metaphorically, allows us to see ourselves and our place in the universe in a new light. Foster a sense of global unity and interconnectedness, reminding us that we're all inhabitants of this pale blue dot, common destiny. And lastly, 5. It's in our nature to. As humans, we're naturally curious creatures. We have a deep-seated need to explore the unknown, to push boundaries, to discover what lies beyond the
Okay,
horizon, whether it's a new land or a distant star. Space exploration is the ultimate expression of this innate human instinct. What's fascinating, Chantilly, is that space exploration isn't just
all
about reaching for the
all the
stars.
things, Maya, all the things were fantastic, and I learned many things about the space exploration. What is space exploration? What are the some famous astronauts and how it works, and what is the first animal? And these are things I learned, and I hope my audience will also learn many things from this interview. So thank you so much for explaining everything in a clear way. So viewer, this is our today's my interview with Maya. I hope you all enjoyed the conversation and learned many things about space exploration. So see you in our next interview with Maya. Till then, Allah Hafiz. In end, as always, Pakistan.